My golden child sister booked her wedding on my date on purpose. Our parents chose her. Mom said, "You'll understand." I just nodded. 10 minutes before my vows, they rushed to my venue and went pale when they realized where it really was. My name is Jenny Curry. I'm 31, and 6 months before my wedding, my younger sister Ashley booked hers on the exact same day as mine, June 14, 2025, the date I had announced at Christmas dinner months earlier. When I asked her to move it, she smiled and said the Jefferson Hotel only had that one Saturday left all year. I called the hotel myself. It was a lie. When I asked my parents to step in, my mother looked me straight in the eye and said, "You'll understand, Jenny. Ashley's wedding is the one people will talk about." She was right, just not in the way she expected. 10 minutes before my vows, my parents rushed into my venue late, breathless, and still dressed for Ashley's black tie reception. They thought I was getting married in some sad little hospital room. Then they walked through those doors. My father went pale. My mother stopped cold because they had no idea what I'd really planned. The day Ashley announced her wedding date, my wedding date, I was in the middle of a medication pass. PQ, second floor, West Wing, 7:01, 5 p.m. I had 3 patients that shift: a 4-year-old post-op cardiac repair, a 7-year-old with bacterial meningitis, a 6-year-old drowning victim on a ventilator. I felt my phone buzz in my pocket. Ignored it. Protocol. When you're drawing up morphine, you don't check texts. But it kept buzzing. Group chat, family thread, the one that usually went silent for weeks until Ashley had news. I finished the med pass, signed off the chart, stepped into the supply room, 47 messages. I scrolled fast. Engagement photos, Ashley and Trevor, her hand extended, diamond catching light. Congratulations pouring in. Then I saw it. Wedding date, June 14, 2025. My hands went cold. June 14, my date. The one I'd announced 8 months ago, the one I'd put a $2,500 deposit on in September. I read it again, then again. My coworker Keisha stuck her head in. "You good?" "Yeah," I said. My voice sounded far away. "Just family stuff." She looked at my face. "You sure?" I nodded. "I need to recheck the morphine dose on bed 3. Can you double-check my math?" "Of course." My hands were shaking too much to trust myself. That night, driving home at 7:03 a.m., after my shift, I kept replaying it. Ashley's face at Christmas dinner, the way she'd gone quiet when I announced my date, the way her smile had tightened. Maybe it was an honest mistake. Maybe she really didn't remember. No, I'd seen that look before. When I got into nursing school, and she didn't get into her first choice college. When I bought my first car with my own money, and she had to ask Dad for help. When I told them about Sam, and she realized her timeline was slipping. Ashley didn't forget. Ashley took. I pulled into my building's parking lot. Ravenswood. The 1-bedroom Sam and I split for $1,650 a month. Modest. Small. Hours. I sat in my car for 10 minutes, staring at nothing. Sam was probably already asleep. He'd worked a 48-hour shift at the firehouse. Engine 78. We crossed paths coming and going. 2 people who understood that the work mattered more than the schedule. I thought about a little girl I'd cared for 3 years ago. Mia. 6 years old. Leukemia. Acute lymphoblastic. She'd come into the PICU and septic shock on a Tuesday night in October 2021. I remembered one night specifically. 3:47 a.m., her oxygen saturation dropping. 82%, 79, 75. The respiratory therapist was in another code. 2 floors down. I manually bagged Mia for 20 minutes, squeezing air into her lungs, watching the monitor, talking to her even though she was sedated. "Come on, sweetheart. Stay with me. Your mom needs you. Your dad needs you. I need you to fight." Her mother stood beside me, gripping my other hand so hard my fingers went numb. "Please don't let her die," she whispered. I didn't. Mia survived. 11 months of treatment, remission, recovery. Her parents never forgot. I'd spent my whole life making myself smaller so Ashley could shine brighter, giving up space, giving up attention, giving up the front row at family dinners and holiday photos and birthday celebrations. This time, I was done shrinking. I got out of the car, went upstairs. Sam was asleep on the couch, still in his CFD t-shirt, remote in his hand. I sat beside him, put my hand on his shoulder. He woke up, blinked. "Hey, you okay?" "Ashley booked her wedding on our date," I said. He sat up, fully awake now. "What?" "June 14th, our date. She announced it in the group chat." He stopped, looked at me. "That's not an accident." "No," I said. "It's not. What are you going to do?" I looked at him, at this man who'd saved people from burning buildings for 14 years, who understood what it meant to run toward the fire while everyone else ran away, who'd never once asked me to be anything other than exactly who I was. "I'm keeping our date," I said, "and I'm getting married exactly where we planned." "Good," he said. He took my hand. "Then let's make it count." Let me back up. Christmas 2024. December 22nd. My parents' townhouse in Lincoln Park. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, worth about $900,000 in the current market. My father's dealership had been good to them. 3 locations now, $6.8 million in annual revenue. Not wealthy, but comfortable. The whole family gathered around the dining room table. Prime rib, twice-baked potatoes, roasted Brussels sprouts, the good china, the crystal glasses, the linen napkins that had to be ironed. My mother had been cooking since dawn. The house smelled like rosemary and garlic and butter, candles on the mantel, Christmas tree in the corner, white lights, gold ornaments, perfectly coordinated. Ashley arrived first with Trevor. He worked at Goldman Sachs. Investment banking, $240,000 a year base salary, plus bonus. That number came up in conversation within the first 7 minutes. "How's work, Trevor?" my father asked. "Busy?" Trevor said. He had that finance guy confidence, the kind that came from knowing your college degree opened doors most people couldn't even see. "We just closed a deal with a tech startup. Series B funding, $12 million. My mother leaned forward. "That sounds impressive." "It's exciting," Trevor said. He put his arm around Ashley. "We're thinking about looking at condos in the spring, maybe Lincoln Park, close to the office." His parents offered to help with the down payment, Ashley added. Casual, like it was nothing. "They're being so generous." My father nodded approvingly. "That's smart. Building equity young. That's how you set yourself up." I caught Sam's eye across the room. He was standing by the bookshelf, drink in hand, watching. He gave me a small smile. Sam had met my parents exactly 3 times before tonight. Once at a family barbecue, once at Thanksgiving the year before, briefly, before I got called in for a shift, once at a birthday dinner for my father. Each time they'd been polite, distant. They asked him about work, about the fire department, about pension plans and benefits. The conversation never went deeper than logistics. When Sam talked about a rescue, about carrying an 80-year-old woman out of a 3rd-floor walk-up, about saving a kid from a car wreck on the expressway, my father would nod and say, "That's good work. Steady work." Steady. That was the word they used. Like Sam was a reliable appliance. We sat down for dinner. My mother brought out the prime rib on a platter. My father carved. Ashley and Trevor got the first servings. Always. Then my parents. Then me and Sam. "So," my mother said, looking at Ashley. "How's work going for you, sweetheart?" Ashley lit up. "Amazing. I just closed my biggest quarter ever. $380,000 in sales, oncology drugs. It's brutal, but the commission is incredible." "That's wonderful," my father said. "You've worked so hard." Ashley smiled. "I'm on track for President's Club this year. That's a trip to Cabo. All expenses paid. 5-star resort. You deserve it," my mother said. I picked at my potatoes. Sam put his hand on my knee under the table. "Squeeze gently." "What about you, Jenny?" my aunt asked. "Aunt Carol, my mother's sister. How's the hospital?" "Busy," I said. "We've had high census all month. Lots of respiratory cases. RSV season." My mother nodded. "That sounds hard, honey." 3 seconds of silence. Then my father turned to Trevor. "So, Trevor, what do you think about the market right now?" "I'm thinking about expanding one of the dealerships, adding a service center. And just like that, I was gone. Erased from the conversation. Sam leaned close, whispered, "You want to leave early?" I shook my head. Not yet. I waited until dessert, apple pie, my mother's recipe, vanilla ice cream on top. I set down my fork. "So, Sam and I have an announcement," I said. My mother looked up. "Oh?" I held up my hand. The ring caught the candlelight. Small diamond, white gold band. Perfect. "We're engaged." My mother blinked, leaned forward to inspect the ring. "Well, congratulations, sweetheart." She took my hand, tilted it in the light. "It's lovely. Small, but lovely." Small. The word landed like a stone. Sam had saved $400 a month for 8 months. $3,200. He'd gone to 3 different jewelers. He'd picked this ring because the jeweler told him the cut made it look bigger than it was. Because he wanted me to have something beautiful. "When did this happen?" my father asked. "September," Sam said. "I proposed at Montrose Beach. Sunrise." "How romantic," Aunt Carol said. Ashley's smile was thin, sharp. "When's the big day?" "June 14th, 2025, I said. "We've already put down a deposit." I watched Ashley's face. Something flickered there. Her jaw tightened for half a second. Then she caught herself, smoothed it over. "June," she said slowly. "That's so soon." 9 months, I said. "Plenty of time. We're keeping it simple. 180 guests." "Where are you having it?" Trevor asked. I hesitated. I wasn't ready to tell them yet. Not until everything was locked in. "We've booked a venue," I said. "I'll send details once we finalize everything." My mother turned to Ashley. Too quickly, like she'd been waiting for a reason to shift focus. "And how are things with you two?" she asked. Ashley smiled, launched into a story about their recent trip to Napa. Wine tasting, 5-star hotel. Trevor's parents had paid for it. A birthday gift. I listened to my mother laugh, watched my father lean in. Ask follow-up questions, engage. Sam caught my eye across the table, raised his eyebrows slightly. A silent question. I shrugged. We both knew how this worked. After dinner, people moved to the living room. Coffee. More pie. My father poured bourbon for the men. Ashley excused herself. "I'll just check on the dessert plates." She was gone for 12 minutes. When she came back, her eyes were too bright, too focused. She sat down next to Trevor, put her hand on his knee, laughed a little too loudly at something my uncle said. Driving home that night, Sam said, "Your sister looked hungry." "For what?" I asked. "I don't know," he said. "But I don't think it's pie." I stared out the window. Chicago at night, street lights, holiday decorations, storefronts closing up. "She's always wanted what I have," I said quietly. Sam glanced at me. "You think she's going to do something?" "I don't know," I said. "But I did. I just didn't know how bad it would be." I should explain something about my family. Ashley has always been the golden child. Not because she's smarter or kinder or better, because she's successful in the way our parents understand. Money, status, visible achievement. She's a senior specialty pharmaceutical sales rep. Oncology drugs. She makes $180,000 a year. She drives an Audi Q5. She lives in a Lincoln Park condo with exposed brick and floor-to-ceiling windows. Her Instagram has 250,000 followers. She posts about her life, her outfits, her brunches, her boyfriend, her bonuses. I make $68,000 a year. I drive a paid-off 2019 Honda Civic. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment in Ravenswood with Sam. Rent is $1,650 a month. My Instagram has 300 followers, mostly co-workers and high school friends. I post approximately twice a year. At family dinners, the conversation always bends toward Ashley, her latest sales quarter, her new handbag, her weekend in Michigan. Our parents lean in when she talks. They ask follow-up questions. They beam. When I talk about work, my mother says, "That sounds hard, honey." And then someone changes the subject. It's been this way for years. My 16th birthday, March 2009. My parents gave me a car, a 2004 Honda Accord. 15 years old, 130,000 miles, manual transmission. The check engine light was on. My father handed me the keys. It'll teach you responsibility. You'll have to maintain it yourself. I said, thank you. I meant it. I needed a car to get to my part-time job at the nursing home, to get to school, to drive myself places because no one else would. Ashley's 16th birthday was 11 months later. February 2010, she got a 2010 Volkswagen Jetta. Brand new, automatic heated seats, satellite radio. My parents co-signed the loan, but they made the down payment, $4,500. At her birthday dinner, my father raised his glass. To Ashley, our little girl is growing up. We're so proud of the young woman you're becoming. No one had made a toast at mine. College graduation, May 2015. I walked across the stage at the University of Illinois Chicago, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. I'd worked 20 hours a week throughout school, took out loans for the rest, graduated with $38,000 in debt. My parents came to the ceremony, took photos, took me to dinner at Olive Garden. We're proud of you, my mother said. Nursing is such a stable career. Stable. That word again. Ashley graduated a year later, May 2016, communications degree, DePaul University. She'd lived in a campus apartment my parents paid for. $32,000 a year, 4 years, $128,000 total. They threw her a graduation party, backyard, catered food, 70 people. A banner that said, "Congratulations, Ashley." She graduated debt-free. At the party, I overheard my mother talking to her friend. Ashley's already had 3 job offers, she said. I always knew she'd do well. She's so driven. I was standing 10 feet away, holding a plate of pasta salad, wearing my scrubs because I'd come straight from a shift. My mother didn't look at me. Summer, 2018. Family vacation. My parents rented a lake house in Wisconsin, 4 bedrooms. They invited everyone, aunts, uncles, cousins. Ashley got the master bedroom, king bed, private bathroom, lake view. I got the pull-out couch in the den. When I asked why, my mother said, Ashley needs her space. You've always been fine with less. That trip, my father took Ashley out on the boat every morning. Just the 2 of them, fishing, talking. He asked me once, "You want to come, Jenny?" I was doing dishes from breakfast. "I'll stay and help Mom clean up." "That's my girl," my mother said. Always so helpful. Ashley came back from those boat trips glowing, laughing. My father's arm around her shoulders. I watched from the kitchen window, hands in sudsy water. One afternoon that week, I was sitting on the dock, reading. My uncle came and sat beside me. "You doing okay, kiddo?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "Fine." He looked at me for a long moment. "You know they're proud of you too, right?" I didn't answer. They just... He paused. "They don't know how to talk about what you do. Saving lives. That's big. That's scary. Ashley sells things. They understand that." "I know," I said. He patted my shoulder. Left me there. I went back to my book, but I couldn't focus on the words. Ashley's typical day looked like this. Wake up at 7:30. Peloton ride. 30 minutes. Post a sweaty selfie on Instagram. Morning grind. 2,000 likes by 9 a.m. Shower. Makeup. Hair. Outfit coordinated. Photograph. Ready. Every day was content. Meetings with doctors, lunch with clients, expenses paid by the pharmaceutical company. Steak dinners, wine, hotel conference rooms, home by 6, dinner with Trevor or drinks with friends, posted on Instagram. Date night at RPM Steak. 1,500 likes. Weekend trips Napa, Nashville, Miami, posted in real time. My mother commented on every photo. Gorgeous. Have fun, sweetheart. My parents called her every Sunday. Hour-long conversations. They asked about work, about Trevor, about her life. They called me every 3rd week. 15-minute conversations. How's work? Good? Okay. Well, we'll let you go. You're probably busy. My typical day. Wake up at 6 p.m. Night shift. Shower. Scrubs. Hair in a bun. No makeup. It'll just sweat off. Drive to the hospital. 14 minutes of traffic is good. Park in the employee lot. Badge in. Second floor. PICU. 7 p.m. 7 a.m. 12 hours. 3 to 4 patients. Ventilators. 4 pumps. Medication drips. Vital signs every hour. Charting. Endless charting. 2 a.m. Vending machine dinner. Turkey sandwich. Bag of chips. Coffee from the break room. Taste like burned rubber. Parents sleeping in recliners next to their children's beds. I bring them blankets. Coffee. Reassurance. She's stable. I'm watching her closely. I'm not going anywhere. 7 a.m. Handoff report. Drive home. Sam's leaving for his shift. As I'm getting back, we kiss in the doorway. Pass each other like ships. Sleep until 2 p.m. Wake up, eat, pay bills, grocery shop, do it again. No Instagram posts, no one comments, no one calls. But the 6-year-old in bed 3 breathes easier tonight because I titrated her oxygen just right. That has to be enough. Most days it is. Thanksgiving 2023. I requested the day off 6 weeks in advance. Submitted the form October 10th. Waited. November 1st. The schedule posted. I was on. 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Thanksgiving night into Friday morning. I called my supervisor. I requested off. I haven't had Thanksgiving with my family in 3 years. I know, Jenny. I'm sorry. Sarah called out. Her daughter's sick. You're the only one with PECU experience who can cover. What about? Everyone else is new. I need someone who can handle it if things go bad. So, I worked. That night, we had a triple admission. Car accident on I-94. Family of 4. 2 kids came to us. 7-year-old boy. Head trauma. Possible skull fracture. 4-year-old girl. Internal bleeding. Emergency surgery. The parents stood in the hallway covered in blood. The father kept saying, "We were just going to my sister's house. Just dinner. Just dinner." I stayed with those kids all night. The boy stabilized around midnight. The girl made it through surgery. Came back to us at 2 a.m. I monitored her every 15 minutes. At 11 p.m., my phone buzzed. Group text. Family photos from Thanksgiving dinner. Everyone around the table. Smiling. Turkey. Stuffing. Pies. My mother's text. Missing Jenny, but we understand work comes first for her. The subtext screamed. Ashley would never miss Thanksgiving. Ashley knows what matters. Ashley has priorities. I was standing at a bedside adjusting a ventilator. A 4-year-old was alive because I was there instead of eating pie. At 11:05, I ate a vending machine turkey sandwich. 99 cents. Dry bread, processed meat. It stuck in my throat. At 2:37 a.m., the girl's mother hugged me, crying. "You saved her. You saved my baby." I went home at 7:30 a.m. Sam had saved me a plate. Cold turkey. Mashed potatoes. He'd worked his shift too. We ate together in silence. My mother called 3 days later, talked for 40 minutes. 38 of those minutes were about Ashley's new promotion. She asked about my Thanksgiving once. Was it busy? Yeah, I said. Well, you're so dedicated. That was it. I stopped expecting equal treatment somewhere around 2019. I stopped hoping they'd notice around 2021. By the time Sam proposed in 2024, I'd made peace with it. Or I thought I had. Turns out, there's a difference between accepting that your parents will always love your sister more and watching them choose her wedding over yours. One is resignation. The other is betrayal. I met Sam 5 years ago. Apartment fire in Wicker Park. 8-year-old girl. Smoke inhalation. Respiratory distress. Sam was on the medic unit that brought her in. Engine 78. He stayed with the family while I stabilized her. At 3 a.m., standing outside the PICU, he said, "You're really good at this." I said, "So are you." We started talking, then coffee, then more. He understood the 24-hour shifts, The missed holidays, the weight of keeping people alive. My parents met him twice before the engagement, both times briefly. They were polite, distant. After he proposed, I called them. My mother's first question was, "How big is the ring?" "It's perfect," I said. "I'm sure it's lovely," she said. "Ashley's boyfriend is in finance. Did she tell you?" The call lasted 23 minutes. 15 of those minutes were about Ashley and Trevor. When I hung up, Sam asked, "Do they ever actually hear you?" "Not in a long time," I said. January 18, 2025. 2:38 p.m. I was restocking supply carts in the PICU when my phone buzzed. Family group chat. 47 unread messages. "Ashley, we're engaged." I scrolled through the explosion of congratulations. Then I saw it. Ashley. And we're so excited. Wedding date. June 14, 2025. The Jefferson Hotel had one Saturday open all year and we grabbed it. "Can't wait to celebrate with everyone." My hands went cold. I typed slowly. "Ashley, that's my date." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "Ashley. Oh, I thought yours was just tentative." I stared at my phone. Tentative. I'd announced it publicly. At Christmas. With the deposit already paid. Me. I put down a deposit in September. "You were at the dinner when I announced it." "Ashley. I know, but you never sent official save the dates, so I thought maybe you were still figuring things out." "The Jefferson only had this one date available. We had to jump on it," my mother chimed in. "I'm sure you two can work this out." I left the break room, found an empty patient room, called Ashley directly. She answered on the 3rd ring. "Hey, you need to change your date," I said. "Jenny, I can't just unbook the Jefferson. Do you know how hard it is to get? You got engaged 3 weeks ago. 21 days, actually. I've been planning for 4 months." There was a pause. When she spoke again, her voice had an edge. "Maybe you should have picked a more flexible venue." "A more flexible?" "Ashley, you did this on purpose. That's ridiculous." "Is it? You sat at that table at Christmas. You heard me say June 14th. You looked me in the eye." "I don't remember every detail of every conversation, Jenny. I'm sorry if there's a conflict, but I'm not changing my date. We've already put down $15,000. I put down $2,500 in September." "Well," her voice went cold. "I guess that's the difference between our budgets." The line went quiet. "Figure it out," she said. Then she hung up. I called my parents of that night. My father answered. I explained the situation, the timeline, the deposit, the deliberate theft. "Nobody stole anything," he said. "It's just a conflict. A conflict she created on purpose." My mother got on the line. "Honey, I know this is frustrating." "Frustrating?" "She stole my wedding date." "Don't be dramatic," my father said. "You're both our daughters. We're not taking sides. You don't have to take sides. You just have to tell her to pick another date." Silence. Then my mother's voice, gentle and devastating. "Jenny, sweetheart, Ashley's wedding is important for the whole family. Trevor's parents are very well connected. Your father's business. We have opportunities here. You have to understand the bigger picture. The bigger picture where I don't count." "That's not what I'm saying. Of course you count. But you have to be realistic. Ashley's wedding is the one people will talk about. Business contacts, social opportunities. You'll understand when you're older. I'm 3 years older than Ashley. So what am I supposed to do?" I asked. "Pick another date," my father said. "It's just a date, Jenny. Don't make this about you." My hands were shaking. "It is about me. It's my wedding." "You've always been so independent," my mother said. "You don't need us the way Ashley does." I hung up. Sam found me on the couch an hour later. He didn't ask what happened. He just sat with me. "You don't have to prove anything to them," he said. "I'm not trying to prove anything anymore," I said. "I'm just done begging to be seen." 3 days of silence. No texts. No calls. Then, January 21st, I saw Ashley's Instagram story. Photos from a venue tour, the Jefferson Hotel. Tagged location, #blessed. That was the moment I stopped asking for their approval. I emailed our wedding planner. Confirmed everything. Locked in the date, June 14th. No changes. If they wanted to miss it, they'd miss everything that mattered. February through May was a master class in dismissal. The family group chat became Ashley Wedding headquarters, menu tastings, dress fittings, band selection, floral arrangements, 400 messages about her big day. When I posted a detail about my wedding, I got 2 responses. My aunt's thumbs up emoji, my cousin's nice. Ashley posted a photo of her dress. Vera Wang, $6,200. My parents paid for it in full. They threw a shopping party. 12 people. Mimosa brunch included. My mother called me a week later. "Honey, I want to help with your dress," she said. "I know money is tight for you too. Let me contribute." "I already bought mine," I said. "Oh. How much was it?" "It's perfect for the venue. I'm sure it's lovely. Simple is very elegant." She thought I'd bought something cheap. The dress cost $2,400. I paid for it myself, but I let her think what she wanted. In March, the please reply started coming in. 68 people received invitations to both weddings. Mutual family and friends. People who had to choose. 61 chose Ashley. 7 chose me. My Aunt Carol sent an email. "Sweetie, we'd love to come to yours, but we already committed to Ashley's and its black tie. We bought outfits. You understand? We'll take you to dinner after your honeymoon." My cousin Bryce chose mine. He texted me privately. "For what it's worth, this whole thing is messed up." In April, Ashley posted in the group chat, "Are you doing a church ceremony or just City Hall?" "Neither," I said. "Ooh, mysterious. Let me guess. Park permit?" I didn't answer. My mother called. "Jenny, where is your wedding? I'd like to coordinate with the family." "It's handled," I said. "But where?" "You'll see on the day." Let them guess. They'd know soon enough. Here's what they didn't know. Fall 2021. A 6-year-old girl named Mia Hartley was admitted to the PICU, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, septic shock. She was dying. I was assigned as her primary nurse. 8 12-hour shifts in a row, approved overtime. I stayed with that family through the worst nights of their lives. Mia's father, Michael, sat beside her bed at 3 in the morning. He looked at me with hollow eyes. "Will she make it?" he asked. "I'm going to do everything I can," I said, "and I'm not going anywhere." She pulled through. 11 months of treatment, remission, recovery. At discharge, Mia's mother, Susan, hugged me. "We'll never forget what you did." In early 2022, the Hartleys announced a $12 million donation to Children's Memorial Hospital, a new wing, the Brennan Family Pavilion, family overnight rooms, a healing garden, a conference center, and a ballroom, the Foundation Ballroom, Florida ceiling glass overlooking the Chicago skyline, capacity 200, donor-funded, state-of-the-art AV system built for fundraising galas, milestone ceremonies, and private events. It opened in May 2024. In March of that year, I got an email from Michael Hartley. "The pavilion opens in May. We'd be honored if you'd attend the dedication. And Jenny, the ballroom is available for private events. If you ever need it, it's yours." When Sam proposed in September, I already knew where we'd get married. I booked it September 16th, $2,500 deposit, standard nonprofit rate. The Hartleys waived the premium fees. I told almost no one. My guest list, 180 people, PICU colleagues, first responders, fire department brass, hospital board members, donor families, city officials, families of children I'd cared for, children who'd survived, and Sam's family. These were people who knew what mattered. The Hospital Foundation offered to live stream the ceremony for off-shift medical staff, for distant patient families, for donors who couldn't attend. I said yes. And one more thing. Instead of a registry, we set up a fundraiser. All donations would go to the Pediatric Cancer Research Fund. The hospital agreed to match the first $50,000. If people were going to watch, we'd make it count for something. I didn't tell my family any of this. When my mother asked where the wedding was, I said it was handled. When Ashley made her snarky comments, I stayed quiet. They assumed I was having some small, sad ceremony, maybe a hospital chapel, maybe a park, something cheap, something beneath them. Let them think that. June 14th would clarify everything. Ashley's wedding, meanwhile, was a production. The Jefferson Hotel Grand Ballroom, Gold Coast, 500 guests, $120,000 budget. My parents contributed $45,000. They stretched their finances for it, dipped into savings. Black tie ceremony at 5:3 p.m., cocktail hour at 6:15, reception at 7, past appetizers, 8 varieties, surf and turf entree, champagne tower with 300 glasses, Viennese dessert hour, 12-piece orchestra, celebrity wedding planner Diane Rothman, $18,000 fee. The rehearsal dinner was June 13th, Gibson's Steakhouse, 60 people, $18,000. I wasn't invited. I wasn't in the wedding party. My mother posted an album that night, celebrating our beautiful daughter's last days as a single woman, 340 likes. I was working a PQ night shift. I saw the post at 2 a.m. during MedPass. I didn't comment. The week before the wedding, my mother called. "We'll be there, honey," she said. "We'll come a little early, stay for the ceremony, then head to Ashley's. We have to be at the Jefferson by 5 for photos, you understand?" I understood completely. Their plan? Arrive at my venue around 2 p.m. My ceremony started at 2. Stay until 2:45, then drive to the Jefferson Hotel, 12 miles, 25 minutes without traffic. Arrive by 5, plenty of buffer time, 45 minutes at my wedding, just long enough to say they came. "I understand," I said. "I knew you would," my mother said. "You've always been so reasonable." June 14th, wedding day. I woke up at 6:30 a.m. in a hotel suite 2 blocks from the venue. Complimentary room. The foundations, thank you. Sam stayed at the firehouse the night before. Tradition. My bridesmaids arrived at 7, 4 PQ nurses, Keisha, Rachel, Donna, Lynn, and Sam's sister Bridget. We had coffee, breakfast, no chaos, just calm. "How you feeling?" Keisha asked. "Ready?" I said. "Your family coming?" Rachel asked. "We'll see," I said. My phone had 0 texts from my parents, or Ashley. At 8, the hair and makeup artist arrived, donated by a grateful family whose son I'd cared for in 2023. By 11, I was dressed. The dress was ivory silk crepe, cap sleeves, chapel train, simple, elegant, expensive. Not that my mother would ever know. At 11, Mia Hartley arrived with her parents. She was 8 now, 2 years cancer-free. She wore a white flower girl dress and a pink ribbon in her hair, pediatric cancer awareness. "You look like a princess," she said. I knelt down. "You look like a hero," because she was. 1230 p.m., the venue coordinator Lauren texted me. "Guests arriving, everything's perfect," deep breath. By 1 p.m. the street outside the pavilion was lined with fire trucks, 28 firefighters from Engine 78 and Truck 23, dress uniforms, Class A's, an honor guard, an ABC 7 news van parked nearby. Michelle Torres, community reporter. The hospital had invited them. Heart of the City segment. First wedding at the new pavilion. First responders marrying a PQ nurse. Fundraiser angle. Local, feel-good story. By 1:30, the ballroom was filling. Fire Chief Daniel Martinez, Alderman Jeffrey Washington, Dr. Catherine Reynolds, hospital CEO, board members, donor families, PQ colleagues, families of children I'd saved. Michael and Susan Hartley sat in the 3rd row, 180 chairs, 165 filled by 145. My parents' seats, 3rd row center, not front row, were still empty. At 1:42, my phone buzzed. "Mom. So sorry, honey. Traffic terrible." Thereby 2.15 latest. Translation. They left late. Prioritized getting ready for Ashley's black tie event. Underestimated time. I didn't reply. At 1:53, I heard it. Car door slamming in the driveway. They arrived at 2:08 p.m., 8 minutes after the ceremony started. I was in the bridal suite with my father's replacement, Fire Chief Martinez. He was walking me down the aisle. He'd saved my life 6 years ago, carried me out of a burning apartment building in Lincoln Park. I went back to work the next night. That's who I wanted beside me. Through the window, I watched my parents' car pull up. My father's Cadillac, the valet stand, the line of luxury vehicles, Mercedes, Lexus, Tesla, the fire chief's department vehicle, 8 firefighters in dress uniforms forming an honor guard outside the ballroom entrance, a news camera. My mother stepped out of the car. She was dressed for a black tie wedding, floor-length gown, hair done, makeup perfect. She looked confused. My father handed the keys to the valet. He was in a tuxedo. For Ashley's wedding. Not mine. They walked toward the entrance. I couldn't see their faces, but I knew the moment they stepped into the lobby. Donor plaques on the walls. The Hartley name prominent. Foundation Ballroom in gold lettering. Then they walked through the doors. I wasn't there yet. But Lauren told me later. They froze. 180 people. Seated. Ceremony already in progress. Father O'Malley, the fire department chaplain, speaking at the altar. The ballroom. Floor-to-ceiling glass. Chicago skyline. White chairs with covers. String quartet. Professional lighting. Front rows. Fire Chief Martinez's empty seat. Alderman Washington. Dr. Reynolds, the Hartleys. A news camera in the corner. My mother's mouth opened. No sound came out. My father went pale. Lauren approached them. Mr. and Mrs. Curry, we saved you seats. 3rd row center. Not front row. They sat. My father scanned the room. His face was the color of old paper. My mother's hands shook as she opened the program. Wedding of Jenny Curry and Samuel Brennan. Foundation Ballroom. Benefiting Pediatric Cancer Research Fund. She looked at my father. He looked at the guests. Recognition dawning. That was the city alderman. The one he'd tried to network with 2 years ago. That was the fire chief. That was, oh God, that was Dr. Reynolds. The hospital CEO. Her face had been in the news last month. My mother's phone was in her lap. Silent. But I found out later. Ashley had texted her at 1:50. Ashley, where are you, Mom? At Jenny's. Leaving soon. Ashley. Everyone here is watching her live stream. At 2:14, the music changed. Patchel Bell's canon. Everyone stood. The bridesmaids walked, one by one, down the aisle lined with candles and white roses. Then Mia, 8 years old. Cancer survivor, pink ribbon, white dress, flower petals. People were crying. Many of them knew her story, knew what she'd survived, knew who'd stayed with her family through the worst nights. My parents didn't know yet. Then, me. Fire Chief Martinez offered his arm. Ready, kiddo? More than ever, I said. We walked. I saw my mother's face. Saw my father's. Shock. Shame. Confusion. I kept my eyes forward. Sam was waiting. He took my hand. His grip was steady. Father O'Malley began. We gather in a place of healing, he said, to celebrate 2 healers. He explained the venue, the Hartley donation, the grateful family, the pavilion built because of one nurse's heart. I didn't look at my parents, but I felt them, frozen, silent, realizing. At 2:17 we said our vows. Sam went first. Jenny, you've seen me at 3 a.m. covered in someone else's blood, and you never asked me to be anything other than exactly who I am. You've held my hand through the worst calls. You've celebrated the saves. You're my home, my partner, my best choice. I promise to be yours every single day for the rest of my life. My turn. My voice didn't shake. Sam, you understand what it means to run toward the fire. You've never asked me to choose between the people I love and the people I serve. You've stood beside me through every missed holiday, every late night, every hard loss. You see me, all of me, and you've never asked me to be smaller or quieter or different. I choose you today, tomorrow, always. Rings. Father O'Malley smiled. I now pronounce you husband and wife. We kissed, the room erupted. Applause, genuine, warm, joyful. We walked back down the aisle. My parents stood, clapping mechanically, faces pale. We exited to the terrace for photos. The reception began immediately. Same room, chairs turned, tables set. By 3 p.m., we were back inside. Lauren approached my parents. "Mr. and Mrs. Curry, will you be staying for the reception? We have you at table 8, not the family table. Table 8, near the back." My mother looked at my father. "We have to leave soon for Ashley's," she whispered. "I know," he said. They sat. At 3:08, Michael Hartley stood to give a toast. The room quieted. Mia sat on his lap. 3 years ago, he began. Our daughter was dying. He told the story. Septic shock, the PICU, the night shifts, the nurse who stayed. This nurse, Jenny, didn't just save Mia's life. She gave us hope when we had none. She sat with us at 3 in the morning. She held our hands. She fought for our daughter like she was her own. His voice cracked. When people ask why we donated $12 million to this hospital, I show them a picture of Jenny holding Mia's hand. That's why. Today we're honored to witness her joy in the space her compassion built. He raised his glass. The room applauded. 90 seconds. Standing ovation. My mother's face was white. My father stared at his hands. $12 million. Inspired by their daughter. The one they dismissed. Fire Chief Martinez stood next. "I've known Sam Brennan for 14 years, he said. "One of the finest firefighters in this city. And Jenny, I carried her out of a burning building 6 years ago. Lincoln Park apartment fire. She thanked me by going back to work the next night saving kids." He looked at us. "These two are Chicago's backbone. The people who run toward the fire while everyone else runs away. Let's raise a glass to them. To Jenny and Sam." The room roared. My father's face. He hadn't known I'd nearly died. I'd never told them. They'd never asked. At 3:45, my mother's phone buzzed. I didn't see the text, but I learned later. Bryce, my cousin, at Ashley's wedding. Bryce. Half the people here are watching Jenny's live stream on their phones. This is wild. The live stream. The hospital foundation had set it up. Professional cameras, audio feed. Posted on their website. 892 concurrent viewers at that moment. By 4 p.m. it would hit 12:40. People at Ashley's cocktail hour, the one that started early at 4, were on their phones, watching my wedding instead of celebrating hers. At 4:15, my mother approached me. I was talking to Dr. Reynolds and Alderman Washington. "Sweetheart," my mother said quietly, "we need to leave soon for Ashley's." I turned, looked at her. "Of course," I said. Calm, steady. "Thank you for coming." Her face crumpled slightly. We'll call you tomorrow." "Sure," I said. She waited, like she wanted me to beg her to stay, to acknowledge how gracious she was being. I turned back to the alderman. She walked away. At 4:20, my parents left. Before the cake cutting. Before the first dance. Before the fundraiser total was announced. They slipped out. Alderman Washington watched them go. He knew my father. They'd met at a dealership event 2 years ago. My dad had tried to network with him. As my father passed, the alderman nodded. Cold, barely polite. "Leaving early, George?" My father didn't answer. They left. The reception continued. Cake cutting at 4:45. First dance at 5:10. Toasts from PICU colleagues. From families of children who'd survived. From firefighters who'd worked with Sam for over a decade. At 6:30, the fundraiser total was announced. $145,000 from in-person guests. $40,000 from online donations via the live stream. Total, $185,000. The hospital matched the first $50,000. Grand total, $235,000 for pediatric cancer research. The room stood, applauded, cried. The live stream archived. Over the next week, it would be viewed 8,500 times. Comments poured in. "This is what a wedding should be." Crying at my desk watching this. "The world needs more people like Jenny and Sam." At Ashley's wedding, people were distracted. Phones out. Comparing? Her Instagram post that night, uploaded at 11 p.m. A photo of her and Trevor cutting their cake got 890 likes. Her usual posts got over 2,000. The comments mentioned me. Just watched your sister's live stream, so beautiful. Your sister raised $185,000 at her wedding for pediatric cancer research. Incredible. Ashley didn't respond to those comments. The next morning, June 15th, I woke up to 7 missed calls from my mother. 12 texts from Ashley. I listened to Ashley's voicemail first. Her voice was shaking. Furious. You did this on purpose. You knew people would compare. You made my day about you. You ruined everything. Everyone was on their phones watching your little hospital thing instead of celebrating me. I will never forgive you for this. Never. 4 minutes. All rage. I deleted it. My mother's texts were gentler, but just as desperate. Mom, we need to talk. Can we meet? Mom. Jenny, please call me. Mom, we didn't know. We didn't know it was like that. I didn't respond. Not that day. Sam and I went to breakfast, walked along the lake, ignored our phones. You okay? He asked. Yeah. I said, I really am. I finally agreed to meet them 2 weeks later. June 28th. A Starbucks on Armitage, neutral territory. Sam came with me. My parents arrived, looking tired. My mother's makeup couldn't hide the shadows under her eyes. My father wore a polo shirt. Casual. Like this was just coffee. We sat. We didn't know, Jenny. My mother started. You never told us where. You never asked, I said. My father leaned forward. You made us look like fools. I stared at him. I didn't make you do anything. You chose Ashley. You chose wrong. That's not fair. You sat in that ballroom for 40 minutes, I said. You stayed long enough to not look completely heartless. That's the math you did. You saw the fire chief, the alderman, the hospital CEO, the news camera. You saw $235,000 raised for dying children. And you still left early to go to Ashley's champagne tower. My mother's eyes filled. We had committed. You committed to me first, I said. 8 months before Ashley even got engaged. But the second she wanted my date, you picked her. You told me her wedding was the one people would talk about. You were right. They're talking. Just not the way you wanted. Silence. We made a mistake, my father said quietly. You made a choice, I said. You've been making it for years. My mother reached across the table. I pulled back. I'm not cutting you off, I said. But I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not accepting scraps. I'm not pretending it's okay to be treated like the backup child. We never. You did. You do. Ashley makes more money, so she matters more. She posts on Instagram, so she's successful. I save children's lives. But that's not impressive because I don't drive an Audi. My father opened his mouth. Closed it. If you want to be part of my life going forward, I said, here's what I need. Real acknowledgement. Not, we didn't know. You didn't care to know. Family therapy. Time. And proof that things have changed. I'm not doing holidays where I'm an afterthought. I'm not doing phone calls where you spend 40 minutes on Ashley and 5 on me. I'm done. I stood. Therapy first, I said. Then we'll see. Sam and I left. My parents sat there, silent. 3 months passed. July. August. September. In mid-July, my father sent an email. 1,200 words. Specific acknowledgements. Apologies for specific moments. Thanksgiving 2023. The dress budget comment. The "you'll understand" line. The 45-minute wedding appearance. He and my mother had started therapy. Individual sessions and couples counseling. In early September, my mother called. We talked for 40 minutes. She asked about my life, my job, my honeymoon, Sam's new position. She didn't mention Ashley once. I'm learning things, she said, in therapy, about why I favored her. And, I said, she was easier, my mother said quietly. You never needed me. At least that's what I told myself. I needed you, I said. I just stopped showing it. More silence. Can we meet? She asked. Just us? I agreed. September 18th. Same Starbucks. 1 hour. Boundaries still firm. But the door cracked open. It wasn't fixed. But maybe it wasn't completely broken. 3 months after the wedding, I was back at work. PQ night shift. Mia Hartley came in for a routine checkup. All clear. Cancer-free. Thriving. She hugged me in the hallway. Are you happy, Nurse Jenny? She asked. I smiled. Yeah, sweetheart, I really am. Her father mentioned the pavilion was hosting another wedding next month. A couple who'd met in the hospital, both cancer survivors. The circle of impact, widening. My chosen family, PQ staff, first responders, the families of children I'd saved, surrounded me and Sam. That was the family that chose us back. My parents were trying, slowly, imperfectly, but trying. Ashley hadn't spoken to me since that voicemail. I didn't chase her. Some doors close, others open. You learn to tell the difference. My mother was right about one thing. People did talk about June 14th, 2025. They talked about the wedding that raised $235,000 for dying children. They talked about the firefighter and the PICU nurse who turned their ceremony into a statement of values. They talked about the family that showed up late and left early, and what that said about what they valued. Ashley's wedding was beautiful, expensive, perfectly executed. Mine was smaller, simpler, and it mattered. My parents chose image. I chose substance. One of us slept well that night. The other had to face 500 guests who'd rather watch my wedding on their phones than celebrate hers. Have you ever been measured by your salary instead of your service? By what you display instead of what you give? By the car you drive instead of the lives you touch? What did you choose? Because in the end, that choice is the only one that stays with you. For more stories, do subscribe daily Reddit readings.